I guess, we'll just see if certain players choose to keep having Kramnik as their coach going forward.
Hikaru, we are here in first Naroditsky Memorial.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great event that's being held here. Obviously, it's in a memorial for Daniel Naroditsky, who passed away, of course. I think it's really great to see so many faces and so many people from the chess community coming together for this event, and I hope they keep organizing this event.
I want to ask you about Danya a little bit. We're a good friend of him, so I want to ask, how did you meet him, and how did your friendship with him begin?
Yeah, so I think I first met Danya, I feel like I probably met him in San Francisco years ago that I don't remember, but we played in the US Championship in 2015, and I would say we were on and off in contact, not that much, but once the pandemic started, and we were both doing a lot of content creation online, we started talking a lot more. And so he was someone that in the online space I was very familiar with. I also think if you look at sort of the landscape of online chess, I guess what I would say is that he was the one player who was always available to play Blitz games. And I think, I don't know if it's since his passing necessarily, but it feels like ever since then there have been a lot less Blitz matches online. So to give you an example, Danya played against Nihal, or he played against me, or he played against Gavukir, or he played against Magnus. I think all of us, our highest number of total games was against him. And I feel like without him around, there are far less Blitz matches that happen. Ali Reza, another person who I think he played a lot as well. And so it feels like there's kind of this empty space and you don't have these matches. So I think that's kind of one of the big downsides as someone who loves to play Blitz online, that there aren't such opportunities anymore. I think obviously beyond just, from the professional side of these high stakes Blitz matches, I think also, he made a lot of content. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that I think amongst the content creators, probably in terms of the quality of his play, relative to, in terms of the strength he had, relative to the ability to sort of translate or explain things to lower rated players, he was by far and away the best in my opinion. And so I think it's a big loss across the board for everyone.
It's been almost 9 months since Chess World lost Danya. What is your one memory you would cherish for the rest of your life?
I think when you ask me about memories, I think a lot of it was just talking to him. In that period after sort of all the accusations began, they're very scattershot towards everyone, and I think that probably for me, I really will remember, talking to him, trying to help him out. Obviously, I think everybody probably feels like they could have done more, whether it's someone like me, whether it's a Charlotte Chessner. I think everyone feels like they could have done more. But I will always remember, just sticking up for him and trying to help him out. And it's a shame what happened. And I just hope that, in memoriam we can sort of remember all the good things that he did.
If you have to describe Danya in one word, what would that be?
One word. I would say enthusiastic. That's the word I would use. I think all the content that he did and all the Blitz matches, he was always really excited to play against everybody. I know I just said excited, but he was always he always had this passion for chess that I think you won't see elsewhere. So like if I use myself or I use Magnus, there are plenty of players who will play Blitz when they're feeling it, but he would just play Blitz no matter what. And I don't think anybody else did that. So the enthusiasm he had for chess was really, really unparalleled.
Very well said. And you played the Blitz event today. How was your overall experience playing, and how did your games pan out?
Yeah, I think there are a couple things I would say. I think the first thing is I've played too much Blitz online without increment, and very little chess with increment. For example, I don't play the Grand Chess Tour. I think if I were playing the Grand Chess Tour and I were playing more events with increment, I probably would have done better than I did today. Even yesterday, there were a couple of very, very shaky moments in the time scrambles. I felt that I played okay. I got a good position against Mukhadin in the second game. He was very low on time, and then I just completely panicked and played like it was a game with no increment. Makes a couple quick moves, gets time, finds a couple of great moves in a row, and I just lose that game. And the third game, of course, was also a big tragedy because against the young kid Ethan Sheehan, I was just winning like out of the opening on like move 13 or 14. And then as soon as I knew that I was winning, but it wasn't just game over immediately, I started spending time, sort of lost the thread, and just played some insane moves. And kind of after that, I didn't really I had no inspiration left for the event, is what I would say. Like as I said to a couple of people in the room back there, I could have won every game after that third game, and I would not have been happy because it's just so unconscionable to lose that game from the position I had. That being said, of course, I think at the end of the day, I still did end on a plus score. I think +1 if I'm not mistaken. I mean, of course, I had this horrendous game against Wesley because I was trying to just win at that point. But there was. The positions I got were good, so I think for me that's the upside. I mean, the downside is just that it was self-inflicted, at least in that one specific game. So, not great, not horrible, somewhere in between.
Talking about the tournament, there was also this creator invitational. You're also a creator, like one of the best creators in the chess world. Would you also consider playing in that at some point?
I mean, I don't think so, because I think there's all downside. I think there's downside and no upside. If I win every game, that's great. If I don't, it's not going to be good. So I would say pretty unlikely. I think that's one of the most difficult things, though, is there's so many content creators across different ranges. So you have someone like John Bartholomew, who's probably not as prolific as a creator, but he's objectively, I think, in terms of strength, the strongest player by a big margin currently. It's not to say like Levy can't beat him or Mon can't play at that level, but I think objectively he probably does less of the beginner stuff, so I think he's a little bit more together. So I think you have this wide range. You have a couple players who are more around like expert level. You have Levy. You have a couple of people like Danny, who, I mean, once upon a time was great, but didn't. I mean, I guess he had a good result at the end, but it didn't start off so well. So it was a good event, and I hope that everybody enjoyed it.
One last.
Sagar didn't get thrashed from Naga. That's a good thing, no?
He was hoping to play you at some point, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would say is that it's. As someone who's been around chess for a long time, there are many things that have changed. So, for example, if we look at kids, if you look at someone like Ethan Sheehan, I think his rating online is 3,100. No one's ever heard of him with over-the-board chess, of course, but if you've played online, you're very familiar. So, like, that's one thing that's changed a lot. And what I would say, the reason I say this is that one thing that I've seen over chess that remains the same is that generally there are a lot of players around master, international master level, especially in New York, who go on to coach because they can't earn a living as a player. And then if they choose to play, they play like 200 points lower than what's expected of them. And so I think when you look at the content creators, the more sort of beginner or lower level intermediate content you create, the more likely it is the quality of your play is going to go down. And I think if I look at Sagar, I look at Levy, I mean, for sure both of them used to be much better players. There's no doubt in my mind. So it is what it is, but I think it's for the best, definitely, in terms of the chess world.
Advice to, how to gain reflexes quickly, like if you don't have too much time to practice and you're playing after a long time. For an international master, what would you recommend? Like right now, let's say Sagar has to continue practicing.
I mean, just move fast. Just move fast. Don't get low on time. I mean, basically do what I tried to do. Just don't get low on time. Just move fast. Play like it's bullet for the first minute and a half, of the game or 2 minutes, and then go from there.
That's not easy, yeah.
That's what I recommend.
And I just had one question. We had got an important update from FIDE that Kramnik has gotten 1 year of ban. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good that something happened. I don't really have a strong opinion on the topic. I think that the damage is done, not just as it relates to Danya, but so many other players certainly. But it's good that there's at least some recognition that something that happened wasn't right. And I think of course. To give an example, if you look at one of the players in this event, you look at Ethan Sheehan. I'm sure that so many players in the past, if you saw him play online, he's just some NM, some master player, and he has some 3,100 rating, you would automatically assume there's cheating. Yeah. That's like in the old days, you would assume that. And I think, if there's any silver lining, it's that with all of the notoriety and all the sort of speculation around players, you actually see a lot of these players who started off, who basically are known for online. And not over the board. And now when they play over the board, they're playing the same levels. Another good example would, of course, be Denis Lazovic as well. I think there's Bluebaum, and I mean it's countless as we all know. But I think it's good that something happened. And I guess we'll just see if certain players choose to keep having Kramnik as their coach going forward.
Okay, thank you so much. It was nice to see you play in this tournament and give a tribute to Danya. So thank you so much, Hikaru.
No problem.